In today's competitive market, it's important for businesses to have an online presence. This could be a website, Facebook postings, or even Instagram photos. The challenge is it takes time and the know-how to ensure visibility. And so for that, we have Namra Consulting. Joining me today is Russ Mangson, who's principal consultant with the firm. Hi, Russ. How are you?
Hi, Jen. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Welcome. So let's start this. Tell me a little bit about your background.
So I went to school for marketing at UMass Dartmouth, which is actually where I met my partner, Sahil Patel. He's the one that founded the business, and he brought me in during our senior year of college, actually. I worked at the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce as an intern between my junior and my senior years doing membership sales for the chamber. That's where I got my sales experience, kind of developed a thick skin there, developed the skill set that I needed to go out on my own. So after working full-time with the chamber 6 months after I graduated, or for 6 months after I graduated, I should say, I decided to leave the chamber and go all in on growing this business, which we had started about a year prior. So ever since then, I've been involved with the Worcester Chamber still, of course, the Wachusett Chamber, and many of the other Central Mass chambers around. Networking like crazy, knocking on doors in the beginning was taking up the majority of my time. And one connection led to another, and so far so good in the last year and a half, and we've been growing pretty steadily.
Well, and I would think that in talking with businesses through all of your various networking events, that you really saw there was a need to help small businesses and large. Right?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the biggest gaps in our industry right now, I think, is the lack of personalization from the larger companies that are offering the social media marketing services. A lot of times they're big media conglomerates. They're not able to manage the social media presence for a local restaurant because there's a story there. There's people behind that business. And, it's one thing to, for example, let's say like a steakhouse, right? So it's just a steakhouse to the really big companies. But if I sign a client somewhere in the local area, I actually drive there. I have my cameras with me. We take pictures of their food personally. We write all the captions personally within our team. We get to know the people within the business. We get to know the customers of the business. And that allows us to create a much more personalized experience for their social media pages, which is absolutely essential in this day and age.
So how do you determine, say you're working with a small business, how do you determine what their needs are and which vehicles they should go with?
We listen. Up front, we listen. We meet with them, and we really just take a holistic approach at what they've been doing, what's worked for them in the past. But a lot of our clients haven't really done a lot of marketing in the first place. A lot of these businesses are brick and mortar locations, and they built their business on word of mouth referrals, networking, all face-to-face interactions. And what the digital world brings with it in the social media age is this complete reflection of what goes on in real life actually happens on the screens now too, which means our jobs just got twice as harder. As entrepreneurs, as business owners, now you not only have to network with people in person, but then you have to go out and post on it on social media, and that's where the time consuming. Exactly.
It can take a lot of time to keep up with this. It's a full-time job for someone, and for people who don't have the staff, this would be the kind of thing that would go by the wayside, I would think, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. We see, in a lot of cases, we see like professional services, insurance agencies, law offices, things like that will sign. And for the last 3 or 4 years, the receptionist has been doing it because Facebook is sort of like an afterthought, but it's, over time, the business owner is starting to realize how important it really is. So it's becoming that thing where the receptionist is starting to speak up and say, hey, I don't have time for this. This is taking like 10, 15, 20 hours a week in some cases.
Right.
And, especially if you're doing edited videos and you're really starting to make an effort to crush it. And with that comes a lot of relief on the receptionist when we step in.
Sure.
And we say, you know what, we'll take it from here. You do your job, we'll do ours. And that's how we form really, really great partnerships that last a long time with our clients.
Well, so let's break it down. Pretend I'm a small business owner. How would you determine whether I need help in the Facebook end, or do you do Instagram and some of the other?
Yes, we do. We do all social media platforms. The majority of the time we start off with Facebook just because that's really like the staple of any social media presence. It helps a lot with your SEO, which links up to your website on Google as well. So that's super important just to lay a solid foundation for your social media. Then we look at Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat and YouTube and all of the others that come into play. More time is required to manage each individual platform. For some people, we're not posting every single day. Sometimes we post 2 or 3 times a week. Sometimes we post 15, 16 times a week. It all depends on what they need, what their budget looks like. And to that same degree, in terms of the variability of our services, sometimes we're shooting custom videos for them and professional photography and all these additional services that we offer. Obviously increases the budget, but we're able to stay flexible and work with businesses no matter what they're able and willing to pay for at the time. We know that if we do our jobs well, no matter what we do, even if they're just starting off, they're going to see some improvement, they're going to see some growth, and they're going to grow with us. So it's kind of nice being a marketing consultant in this day and age, because when we do our jobs the right way, our clients do well, and we end up growing with them. So that's a really great aspect of it.
Well, let's talk about the search engine optimization,
Yep.
right? The SEO.
The fun stuff.
Right. Now, how important is that? Because you can track that, right?
Oh yeah, it's super important, and there's so many different ways to approach it. I mean, the coding on your website has a lot to do with what goes on in your SEO, but your social media presence, a lot of people don't realize how impactful that is on your SEO. I mean, if you're posting every day on Facebook and Instagram, and you're uploading videos to YouTube, and you're using all the right tags, that really, really impacts your overall digital presence online. And if you have a very strong YouTube presence, then there's a good chance, in a lot of cases we see this, where the YouTube page or the Facebook page, the link is actually popping up on Google above a client's website.
Right.
And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that anymore. The website doesn't have to be the end-all be-all informational piece on your business. You can very easily inform people who are interested in your services about what you do, and more importantly about who you are, through the use of Facebook, because it allows you to post pictures, gets much more personalized, and that allows you to build personalized connections with the people who you might do business with.
So if I'm a client and I say, how do I know this is working? You could basically show me reports and...
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, a lot of it's just general branding, so you're looking for growth. So if we're managing a social media presence and we're not really doing any paid advertising, which is where you see a lot of the direct ROI information, what we're looking for is growth. I mean, if you start at point A and you're looking to get to point B, we don't know how fast it's going to take to get there, because it truly just comes down to your individual business, the market that you're working with. In Holden, people are really, really close and tight-knit, and it's a phenomenal business community. So you see a lot of people sharing other business owners' posts and supporting each other.
Right.
Other areas aren't necessarily like that, right? So you might see a slower growth pattern, but it doesn't mean that it's not working. When we go into the Facebook and Instagram advertising side, or you're paying for Google AdWords, which is an additional expense, that's where you really see exactly how many people you're reaching. You can start to do your calculations, figure out, okay, how much money does it take me to get one person to my website? How much money does it take for me to get that person from my website to actually buy something? And that's where you can start to calculate the ROI, how to rework the structure of your ads, and optimize everything in the long run, continue to improve based on what you're learning from past trials.
Well, and you, I'm sure, also know the times that it's best to post on Facebook. There have to be some little, tricks to the trade that a lot of people don't know, and you can ensure that they bump up.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's so many little things that you can do that, the general person who's not a marketing expert would miss. It's not to say that they're not doing a great job on their own, but there's that extra 5 to 10% margin that can really set you apart. There's the peak times on Facebook. So we're making sure that for all of our clients across the board, we're posting at what we see to be the peak time of the day, so that more people are seeing that initial post. Same goes for the hashtags. And there's a different strategy for using hashtags on Facebook than there is on Instagram and YouTube. So knowing how each platform's algorithm works and understanding really the core of each platform allows us to do our job well.
Well, and I think for a business, it's important to know that, like you said, you can tailor the size of the project. You can start small if someone wants to test the waters and see how it goes, or you could come in and just hand you everything. And the nice thing is you'll take photos and you'll write the posts and take care of it from there. I would think it's just a huge relief to a lot of business owners.
Absolutely, absolutely. And not only that, but we actually respond to all the comments that come in, and we respond to reviews as they come in. So ideally, all of our clients never have to log on. We always say, we stay connected so you don't have to be.
Yeah.
And that is where a lot of business owners see the big value add there.
Well, I think it's going to be a huge help to a lot of the businesses watching. And so if people want to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
So our website is namraconsulting.com. You can also find us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Namra Consulting. We have a lot of great pictures and videos. You can get to know our whole team on our Facebook page. Or you can call me at 774-437-8113, and we can set up a meeting. I live in West Boylston. I'm always around Central Mass, so anywhere, Central Mass and in Boston, I'd be happy to meet with you.